Hello and welcome. Please excuse the handheld video here. It's about the only practical way to do this one. Had a viewer request to show him how I mounted my FT7900 in my Buick Skylark here. Now this is a 2001, not Skylark, Buick Park Avenue. 2001 Buick Park Avenue. So I figured it'd be a good short video to fill in between doing other stuff I've got going. Picked this car up with 78,000 miles on it. And the wheels you see on it, plus 4 new snow tires mounted on alloy wheels. So I got 2 complete sets of wheels for this car. And incidentally, the tires that are on it were new when I got it. Picked it up for $1,500. It's filthy right now. It's been in the rain for 3 days. A nice day today. But I couldn't pass this thing up, and I've already put 40,000 miles on this. I do a lot of driving back and forth to work. At any rate, we're going to show you how we mounted the FT7900 in this. And you can see there's a mag mount for 70 centimeters on the roof. And we've got the trunk lid 2 meter 5/8 wave on the back. And I'll show you right now how it's mounted in the trunk, and then we'll move on to how I mounted the control head. And coax cables from both antennas sit down here on the outside of the gasket for the trunk lid. That's to prevent any water. If you run them over the top here, you're going to get water dripping down into the trunk when it rains. And we merely run the cables down behind or outside the gasket and down here to the back of the car, and I drilled a hole here to put a tie wrap so I could have a drip loop, so any rain that follows the cables down will run out and off of the bumper. Then the cable goes up and underneath the plastic trim that's inside the trunk. And inside of here you have all these trim panels. Now every vehicle is different. I don't know how yours come out. Mine has a little screw off connector or thumb hand nut, whatever you want to call it, I don't know. And these little buttons here pop out with a special tool that looks like a fork. It goes in behind the panel and you merely pop those out. The diplexer for the 2 antennas is hidden back there, just laying behind those panels. And the radio itself is mounted up in there. Now let's see if we can, let me get some more light. There's the radio tucked up underneath. I thought I'd press the button and I was sitting here chatting to myself. You can see the red and black power cable running through a couple holes in the frame. They run down behind this box which has the premium sound system. It was just a convenient place to run them. The black cable you see there is the USB programming cable. I don't know why people get all torqued out of shape and worry about drilling a couple of holes in the frame that's underneath the rear deck. There was an article in Q Street about using turnbuckles to hold your radio in, which seems kind of silly to me. It's going to bounce no matter how tightly you tighten up those turnbuckles. There's going to be bouncing going on when you're supporting at an angle like those do. This doesn't hurt anything. No one's ever going to notice the holes. No one's going to care if there are holes. You can see there's great big cutouts in the panel already. What are 4 little screw holes going to do to it? Nothing. Anyway, I get off my soapbox here. The radio's up out of the way. Well, you know, well in a safe position. You can load the trunk up and not worry about it. Nothing's going to interfere with it. And we'll go inside. Now I was lucky. Underneath the rear seat here, and the rear seat pulls out in most cars just by grabbing underneath here and pulling up. There's a power tap running back for the power windows and for the premium sound system. There's 2 20-amp supply cables under there, so I just tapped in one of those for a power source. I'm not going to pull the seat out. Your car is going to be different. The armrest pulls down. There's a little panel in here that allows access to the trunk, and If I reach up in and grab that black cable you saw, it's in the trunk, hard to do with one hand here, we have the programming cable for the radio. So I don't even have to open the trunk to program it. And in fact, in here I have a USB extension cable that I can plug into that, and I can sit in the front seat of the car with my laptop and program the radio if I have to make any changes. So that's handy to have, and that's just tucked up inside one of the holes you saw. I can reach up from here and I can coil it up and stuff it. I don't even have to open the trunk. The trunk can be full, and I can program, I can program the radio from there. And yes, I'm wearing my Radial shop shirt today. Okay. It's cold out. Here we have the radio mounted in the ashtray opening. Down there on the floor is one of those realistic speakers that they probably sold back in the day for CB radio. Let me get on the other side of the vehicle here. I think the light will be better. There we go. That's better lighting. Okay, there's the radio. There's the control head, rather, I should say, mounted in the ashtray opening. And the microphone and the speaker down there on the floor is one of those realistic communications, quote-unquote, speakers that's supposed to be tailored for audio frequency. It actually works quite well. Let me turn that on just a second here. We'll do this. And where's the weather channel button? 7. Okay. At the Portland weather buoy, the wind was north. As you can hear, the audio is not bad from that speaker. Sea water temperature 53 and 1 foot. Seas every 8 seconds. At Wells, the wind was north at 7 knots with a temperature of 63. That was mounted in my Grand Marquis and was actually used as a footrest for about 10 years. So it stood up well to the test of time, considering where it came from. Alrighty, how did I actually mount the radio in there? Well, let's take a look at a couple of things. The microphone mount is nothing but a piece of coat hanger that's bent in such a way that it locks into the ashtray itself, the metal ashtray, and it snaps into place, and you just got to think about it and be clever. And you can see it's got kind of a wide V shape here, so I don't even have to look down because of the design of this microphone. I can just throw it in there, and every time I toss it on there, it just falls into the V, and there it stays, and it stays there through all kinds of traveling. Now I've also tie wrapped the microphone cable to the microphone holder. That's to prevent pulling and twisting on these stupid telephone type connectors over here. I hate these. ICOM uses them now, and Yaesu's using them, and they always break right where they go into the connector. I hate those things. We'll pull the control head out of here, and I'll disconnect the cable from the back. I'm trying to do this all one-handed. There we go. And there's the back plate mounted on a piece of aluminum angle that you may or may not see hidden in the back, which is in turn, let me turn the viewfinder over here so I can see what I'm doing. You can see it's screwed to the inside of the ashtray up here, and there's another screw over here on the other side in the same place. Those are the original mounting screws for the whole ashtray insert. So I made no modifications to the car whatsoever. I didn't cut anything. Nothing has changed. It's 100% stock, other than the addition of that piece of aluminum you see in the back. And what that is a piece of aluminum channel from the home improvement store. Just this. Let me zoom back out. Am I zoomed in? No, I guess not. Piece of aluminum angle from the home improvement store. And all I did is, you can see I laid out 4 holes to mount the carrier or the bracket for the radio. I removed the section that has the stripes on it right there. 2 holes drilled on the top to mount it up in the ashtray proper, so it mounts up in there. The cutout section that's over here is to allow an opening here so I can plug in my GPS and my dash cam. I have a drive cam that plugs in here, and I wanted to leave this area free. You can easily cut this stuff on a table saw with a carbide blade. I've been doing this for years. In fact, I don't know if you can see the quality of the cut on the end of this. It does a beautiful job. And you can also cut this section out using the table saw if you're careful. If you're skilled with a table saw, there's no, it's not a problem at all. Just use a good carbide blade and it'll cut right through this aluminum like it's made out of cheese. So, let me put the radio back. And that's pretty much it. There it is, mounted in the ashtray, tucked right out of the way. The microphone is easily at hand. The viewing angle is virtually perfect when you're driving down the road. All of the wiring is run underneath the carpet. That's easily accessed by removing a few of these trim panels, and then you just fold the carpet over. You can run the wiring down underneath everything. Please don't ask me how your trim panels come off. I don't know. I know how mine come off. I put a fork behind here and pop them open. Some have screws. It's going to depend from car to car to car how it's done. I don't pretend to be an automotive expert. I'm only expert on my own vehicles. You'll have to figure yours out. And the carpets could sure use a shampooing, but that's alright too. The car is a 2001. And for what I paid for it, it runs great. It's rust-free, and I'm happy. That's it. I'm the radio mechanic. Hope you found this useful or helpful. The main thing, get yourself some aluminum from the home improvement store and be creative. Talk to you later. Bye.